Time now for Around the League. Quick hits. Here's everything else making headlines across Nebula. First off, the fastest match victory in Nebula history now belongs to Alex.
Just 10 seconds from bell to bell. Shotzi never had a chance to do anything before Alex had already put the match away.
Shotzi may not have even heard the bell for this one.
10 seconds? I've spent longer deciding what entrance jacket to wear.
And that's the one you decided to go with tonight, huh?
I'll choose to ignore that comment, Miranda.
Anyway, one moonsault was all it took to finish off Shotzi in record time. And now we move to the women's tag team division.
System Crash defeated Wolfsbane Hollow to capture the Nebula Tag Team Championships in a highly competitive contest.
That division is getting crowded. Everybody wants those belts.
Jasmine continues to make headlines, but not necessarily for the right reasons.
This week, Jasmine took things even further on Darkside, attacking Willow before the opening bell, and again after the match with a steel chair.
At this point, if Jasmine is walking toward the ring, carrying furniture, it's time to leave.
This is too far. Completely unnecessary. They're gonna break their arm.
This was a rematch from Portal Greenlight, where Willow believed Jasmine crossed the line and left her injured.
Willow came into this match not looking for closure, but instead looking for payback.
And Jasmine Martinez is not exactly known for apologizing. If Willow thinks Jasmine hurt her on purpose, this could get ugly fast.
We've received an update on Willow following the post-match attack. Medical staff are reporting a moderate arm injury. The good news is it doesn't appear to be season-ending.
The bad news is Jasmine knew exactly what she was doing. That wasn't frustration, that was targeting. The rivalry between Nia Jax and Chrome also escalated.
Following Nia's post-match ambush on Portal, their scheduled match on Darkside never reached a conclusion as both competitors continued fighting officials and each other.
The referee looked at that situation and said, absolutely not.
Which is probably what you should have said to that jacket. Moving on.
Okay, are we doing this all night?
The feud between these two has now escalated, ever since Nia attacked Chrome after her match on Portal with a post-match chokeslam.
Chrome had just defeated Jade Cargill when Nia stormed the ring and planted her with a chokeslam.
I have a feeling these two will be crossing paths again soon.
Rest in peace. Trying to close the casket. Trying to win this match.
Moving on to the men's division, Aleister Black finally evened the score with Darby Allin on last week's Darkside.
After losing the ambulance match on Underground, Black responded with a victory in a brutal casket match on Darkside.
That's called getting your get back. Speaking of get backs, you should probably get back your money from whoever did your hair this week, Miranda.
Wow.
I'm just keeping it 100.
I happen to think you both look very nice tonight. Another person who looked nice this week was Matt Cardona, who managed to climb the ladder on this week's Underground to become the new 24/7 champion.
A chaotic ladder match produced an equally chaotic champion.
Cardona and Chaos. Honestly, that feels about right.
But who didn't feel right this week were the MFTs, who felt they were robbed of winning their title match against the Wyatt Six.
The Wyatt family defeated MFT on Nebula, but questions remain about whether Tonga actually submitted before the official's decision.
I've watched the replay 3 times. I'm still arguing with myself.
A rematch was scheduled for Darkside,
But events later that night prevented that match from ever taking place.